and welcome back to Empowered How You Grow. Remember, this is actually partially a review of the film The Little Mermaid, Joseph, and the article How to Walk Empowered, but it was so in alignment I had to do it in this format instead of the format in which I initially would have done the article by itself, but it blends so perfectly I couldn't help but do it this way. So we left off where Ariel's father had destroyed her room and said, "You're not supposed to go up there and deal with this human being." So, teachers will tell you, you can't go do things. Society will tell you that because you or the color of your skin, that can't be yours and you're not going to be able to do that, disempowering you. In that moment, Ariel felt disempowered, oppressed, depressed. She was literally going into a state of depression when the two eel snakes came in and offered her the opportunity to go meet Ursula. Now, Joseph and his brothers threw him in a pit. Ariel's father lorded his authority over her, which I said at the end of the last one, because he was afraid. Because remember I said that he turned and he looked at her after she was having her cry, that you literally saw in his eyes sadness, because it was like he had destroyed everything in her room with his scepter, because of the fact that, including the statue that she had found, because of the fact that he just wanted to hold on to her. That's all. He didn't want to lose her, and he knew that if she, just like every father, a father that sees his daughter find the person she's supposed to be with means, I'm never going to have you the way that I had you before. And because of that, some, especially you may have a narcissistic parent, they might do everything in which to deter you from this particular person. I've experienced it, and I care not to share what my father did. But in a way, what he did in my last relationship was necessary. So it led me up until this point. Let me just put it like that. Joseph had a voice, but due to the setup of his situation, he was a slave. He was a slave servant to the Pharaoh. And because of, and this is how it mirrors, as him being a slave servant, if you go and you watch the Disney version of the story of Joseph and the Technicolor Dreamcoat, or the story of Joseph, the scene in which the wife has ripped his coat and cloak when they come and he's brought before the Pharaoh confronts him. The Pharaoh says what he has to say, because the authority that the Pharaoh has, the laws of the land, the Pharaoh had to jail him. But at the last moment in the scene, if you watch, when they are taking Joseph away, his wife, she falls over just like Ariel does. Falls over her chair. The Pharaoh turns, and in the exact same way, I didn't even realize this when I was writing it last night. The exact same way that the father turned disapprovingly, but had a recognition. This is the same thing the Pharaoh did in that movie. The Pharaoh had a look on his face as if the realization that he knew what his wife had done. Then he turned and he looked at her, and she looked up at him, realizing that he knew that she did that from the expression on his face. And then he turned and looked away from her, just like the father did, that when he turned and looked away from her with the realization of he knew he was losing her. Two different scenarios, but similar type of thought process. If you look at I already said that. The second you find self-empowerment, the virtues come out to, the vultures come out to pull you back down like crabs in the barrel. Remember, I mentioned Ursula's electric eels. And if you look at them, one eel's right eye is yellow, one eel's left eye is yellow. And they always would put those sides together like intertwined snakes. Ariel, when given the offer at first, she thought wisely, I'm not going to take this offer. But then after a moment, she said, I will be in an empowered situation and I will have control in this moment. I'm going to do it. So she, feeling like she's in an empowered moment, goes to Ursula. But her minions were just deceiving her in order to put her into a much worse position. Some of you have been in a state, I've told y'all before, remember when I talked about desperate delusions? Don't ever be desperately delusional that you get so close to the exit of your season. This is where we're at. We're at the exit of our season. That a lot, and this has happened to your spouses, pause. I was watching one of the other ministers, and she explained this morning, and this may be the case with you. Watch Stephanie P's most recent video where she was talking about the empowerment and change. But the exes are retaliating, I think is what she called it. And she was talking about how the ex of some of y'all got situations like the ex of your god ordained spouse, he been gone. He gone. God done freed that man. He's so close to you. It don't make no sense. And this woman start doing candle work. Some of y'all, the person is doing witchcraft just because she suspect that y'all might get together. She don't even know for certain, but she think she don't stick with it. She just gonna do it cause. Why is that relevant to this point? Ursula, she realizes that this is this close to happening, so how can I get to be a part of this? I promise to give you exactly what you want when you're literally right around the corner from it. Because we see at the end of the film that it was through her father she got it. Through the father, you got to get it. But she goes to Ursula and makes a deal with her that she will give her her voice if she can provide a way for her to meet the man and be with her man. She's like, sure. You have 3 days. All you have to do is kiss him. If you kiss him in 3 days, seems simple enough. Kiss him in 3 days. If you kiss him in 3 days, you get to be with him, and you will walk on land for the rest of your eternity. Whatever it is that you desire. will be happy, and so on and so forth. She can't beat that deal. A lot of your God ordained spouses have dealt with this. That before you came into the picture, there was an offer made by their counterfeit. And I have to pause on this because I gotta say this. She said it, and now that I'm thinking about it, a lot of us think that our God ordained spouses have been running around with somebody that it just looks good for them to be with this particular person. But I was listening to a word yesterday and they were mentioning this, which made me partially go and look at the film. Our God ordained spouses have been with women that the enemy set them up with that are darn near our twins. Whether they look like us, got similar names to us, they act just like us, whatever it is. I can tell you right now, the guy I used to date, the last person I dated, the personality wise, spot on to my God ordained spouse. He was just a little bit darker skinned. His complexion was darker complexion. But right down to the afro and the cornrows, whether he wore afro or cornrows, the same thing. Did the same thing. Even I remember his mother used to make comments about his hair texture and all that kind of stuff. And this guy has hair texture that is specific to his culture. But I've come to that realization that you have to come to the knowledge that these men were dating counterfeits that almost are identical. And I'm going to dig deeper into this. That as she came into the agreement for this thing to go up on land, she literally was doing what the serpent tried to get Jesus to do. Give into the lust of the flesh. The little mermaid wanted to be with this man, which is a fleshly desire. The lust of the eye. She was attracted to him and his eye. Pride of life, being in his world. Having that world instead of this world that she was living in. That is why it is so hard to reach the top of any industry that many people are pulled down. Some of you are in position and the Lord is leading you to be in relationship with people that are in high level positions. Maybe they're a real estate agent. Maybe they're a tax broker. Maybe they're whatever it is, their position affords them the ability to live at a status that you have no ability to touch where you are. Maybe they are a celebrity. Maybe they are a real estate agent. Maybe they're an accountant. Maybe they're a politician. Maybe they're whatever it is. Whoever it is. That is the person that you're supposed to be with. Maybe they're an actor. Maybe they're... And it doesn't mean that they are a well-known actor. They could be an independent film actor. You realize that people that are in acting and musicians that are independent actually have more wealth than the people that are in label contracts because they own everything that they have, where the industry people own 90% of it. And they are usually getting anywhere from 10 to 18% off of everything after they pay back all the loans that they took out. Because the main reason everybody goes to a label is they want them to pay, right? They want them to pay for the acquirement or the building up or whatever it is that they're trying to do. It comes from that old statement. I was listening to Patricia Bright talk about this the other day in her book talking about business acumen, that you work on somebody else's credit, not your own. So building up money and finances and so on and so forth. But when it comes down to it, depending on these industries, God has people in places that He desires to position you with that are willing to bless you. They need to be in position in order to open the doors for you. And you can't be 100 to 200% of people are chipping the percentages away of you and draining you. Think about when you watch Shark Tank. Most of those people are talking about anytime you're doing business, especially when you're doing bartering for I'll give you 10% of my business. I'll give you this percentage of my business. Some people are bartering away what it is that they have. So what is it that has to do with the film is that she literally signed on a dotted line to give away something that she owned free and clear. Her voice. I'm going to tell you this. When I went to New York, before I went to New York, I used to sing reasonably around the house and so on and so forth. When I went to New York, I noticed a very weird level of warfare came over me that I'd never really ever experienced before. I ate something within the first month of me being there and my voice was gone. Couldn't talk, could barely speak, and like when you lose your voice to the point that it's shoddy, it's like, and it wasn't even, I was no strain on my voice. It was just like, it was gone. It was just gone. Just like I'm talking to you right now, I just had no voice. I would literally have to strain to speak. When I would sing, I had a very specific form of attack. And I noticed this within 24 hours. If I started singing one day, this is something that would happen. Wherever I was, I would begin to taste aerosol. Like somebody had sprayed an aerosol perfume in my vicinity and no one was around me. I'd be indoors, inside. I wouldn't even be near vents. And I'd start singing. The aerosol thing would happen and I would taste whatever this aerosol was. After I tasted that aerosol, within 24 hours, I could not speak or sing. I ain't lying. I'm not lying. Don't know where it came from. Don't know what kind of warfare that was, but it happened every time I tried to sing. Okay. So you go into the world. You don't have the language. And this dawned on me last night. I was thinking about my coach who always keeps, she's in a state right now where she's like, I got to teach you how to speak. I got to teach you how to do this. I got to teach you how to speak. I'm going to teach you. I'm going to teach you. I'm going to teach you. I'm going to teach you the language. The language, the language, the language. She could not speak. A lot of y'all are supposed to go into places, spaces, industries, what have you, that your partner is in a level of business that you don't know the language. You don't know how they talk. You don't know their contractual agreements. You don't know the paperwork information. You don't know even the wording of how to express what it is that they do to a technical level. You know what they're doing. You just don't know the words that they use. But you understand it because the Lord's already shown you that. Because part of it is you know how to do the exact same thing that they do, or you know of it. The Lord has been teaching you or giving you wisdom of how it operates in his own manner as he tries to help show you how he's going to use you in that area and arena. But you still don't have the language to speak in that arena. So she comes out of the water. She has legs. Her friends are shocked, trying to figure out what's the new thing about her. And some of the things is this: you're going to come into that new place that the Lord is going to take you. And if you're not telling anybody and you're not speaking about where you're going, people are still going to be able to see there's something different about you, even if you're not telling. So he meets with her and he knows she looks familiar, but he needs to hear her voice. So he has to show her how to operate in the world. He invites her into his home. Your spouse is the key that's going to be inviting you into the world that is going to open you up to what it is that you're supposed to walk into. So you are literally going to be walking into an entire different environment because of them. And because of that, that person is going to come to the realization that he's got to change your clothes. God's been telling you, and I know if he's been telling me, he's been telling you, you're going to have to change your garments. Your clothes are going to change. You are going to change your clothes. Say goodbye to your wardrobe as it is right now, because that is what's going to happen. Your God ordained spouse is going to open up the door that's going to change your wardrobe. And with this change, it's going to open up a door for you to be seated at the table. I had a dream several months back. I'm not going to give you all the details, but I will tell you this. I changed my clothes. I had on a business casual dress, A-line dress. I turned around and my God ordained spouse was standing there. He opens the door and takes me to a dinner table surrounded by a bunch of people. He's going to introduce you to the table. They are going to be the invitation. They will invite you to the table. They will invite you to this place. But in them inviting you, they are observing you. They are trying to see, is this the person I think they are? And are they the one that's going to be able to withstand and handle being here with me? So you are literally getting shown the ropes of the environment. And then in this time frame, you are going to get to know each other. I don't know what's going to happen. God's shown me some things. He's been consistently giving me confirmation after confirmation after confirmation. I always get a confirmation as soon as I come out of a consecration, whether it was 1 day, 3 days, whatever amount of days. the consecration was supposed to be. But I'm supposed to, I then thereby gain a level of wisdom. Um, trying to make sure I know what I'm doing. Um, God is getting this man to get to know you. Getting to know you as the person, getting to know your mannerisms, getting to know how you operate, getting to know all of these types of things. So he's observing this. And for those of you, y'all been getting, raise your hand if you've been getting constant confirmations that this man's been observing you, 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 observing you. He can see you, he's seeing you, he's following you, he's on your social media, he's this and the other, he's been watching you, he's been. And I even got an interesting title word came to me the other day. The person that you're a fan of is a fan of you. For those of you that have a person in a high status, they watching you too. Um, but with that being said, they will spend this time getting to know you, and your spirit will connect with their spirit. There will be a unspoken spiritual connection between you and this individual. And the only way that he will get full confirmation of who you are is through God. That is what he's been doing with this God ordained spouse all this time, giving him the spiritual understanding, even if you haven't been saying anything. Nothing that, especially if you haven't been saying anything that really tells them anything about you. Keeping it on the low, keeping it on the hush, keeping you whatever. Um, you have to choose. Now, I'm going to pause. If you watch the movie Joseph, what happens in the movie Joseph? Before Joseph is accused of raping the wife of the Pharaoh, the wife is watching him. But he, at this very same time, is watching the daughter of the Pharaoh. He's attracted to the Pharaoh's daughter. He keeps having interactions with the Pharaoh's daughter, but they never really speak to one another because he does not have the status to speak to her. You know how it is. You're a servant, meaning you have no right to speak to the Pharaoh's daughter, but they keep passing each other. And you can tell that she's interested in Joseph. And it's through the understanding of the fact that the mother knows that the daughter is interested in him is the reason why she attacks Joseph. At least that's what they show you in the film. I had to throw that in there before I come into this part. You have to choose to get yourself from your scattered place to find the people that will empower you. It says in Deuteronomy 30:3 that the Lord your God will restore the fortunes and have compassion on you and gather you from all of the nations where he has scattered you. Ariel lost a lot and her father broke down all that stuff, and then what Ursula has done, and then at the very crucialist moment where they were trying to they were that close, the famous kiss the girl moment. And I'm going to pause right here to say this, and I'm gonna actually stop this in a moment as soon as I say this. If you've used to watch Family Matters, come on now, anybody Family Matters people, this is the one clip I have not been able to find anywhere on the internet. If you find it, please tag it for me, because I've been looking for it everywhere. I've been hearing the song that Sebastian sings when he talks about Kiss the Girl. But Family Matters, if you remember, when Stefan proposed to Laura in Disney World at the water fountain, what song were they playing? Sebastian's Kiss the Girl. I can't find that clip nowhere. If the Lord wants me to find it, he'll show it to me. It'll be on the internet somewhere. Somebody give me that clip, because I want to see that clip, because I haven't seen it in forever. The way that Stefan had the chariot bring Laura up there, then they put her in the seat, the throne, positioning. Hello? And then he proposed to her while they played Kiss the Girl. Anybody find it? Please tag me if you find the original clip. Please, thank me. If you can go find it and you got it on DVD, put it on the internet. I need to see this clip. But yes. But I'm going to leave that right there, because we about to run out of time on this one. And I will pick up on the next part as we come towards the end of this review. All right, until next time, much love, faith, peace, and blessings.